Hello everyone, Happy New Year and welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since the last time I uploaded a tutorial, but I'm happy to be back and I hope you all enjoyed this video. Today, I'm going to show you how to create this dreamy illustration step by step. Although this tutorial is made for people already familiar with the Procreate app, beginners should not find the video too hard to follow. If you recreate this illustration, make sure to upload your drawing on Instagram and tag me so I can share it. Before we start, here are the brushes that I will be using during this video. As usual, we have the monoline brush for drawing all outlines and shapes. There is also the light pen brush, which I use to create glowing stars. These are both brushes that already come with your Procreate app. Now for shading, I'm using the Gracia and the Diagonal Texture brushes by Jungle of Colors. I'll add the purchase link below in the description, but you can use any soft textured brush you like. I can personally recommend using the 2B compressed brush, which you'll find in the charcoal selection, as well as the medium nozzle brush in the spray paint collection. I've also linked two main resources in the description for you to download and use. The first being my color palette, and the second being a sketch to assist you with drawing the glass house. These links also include instructions on how to use the resources. Now let's begin. As you can see, I'm starting with my glass house sketch placed on an independent layer for guidance. Create a new layer right below the sketch. Set your new color palette as default. Select the dark blue color from the palette and pick the monoline brush. Set your brush thickness to 10% and let's start tracing the sketch. All vertical lines in this video should be perfectly upright, so remember to hold your pencil on the screen and then your finger at the end. For horizontal lines, only hold your pencil at the end and follow the sketch line. You can always tap the screen with 2 fingers to undo a mistake and with 3 fingers to redo. Hold your pencil and then your finger on the screen. Make sure your lines are always overlapping and close the shape correctly. Now, I'm moving to the inner sides of the house, starting with the triangle. Feel free to rotate your canvas in whatever form you're most comfortable with while tracing these lines. For the lower part, start by tracing it as a box and remember to hold your finger on the screen for all vertical lines. Now choose the monoline brush as an eraser and erase the gaps like this. Continue to trace vertical lines and don't forget to hold your pencil and finger at the end. You can double tap your pencil's flat edge to quickly switch to your eraser and back. Now erase these gaps and continue to close off your shape and fill it out. Now the next step is a bit tricky, so try to follow closely. I want to separate this horizontal bar into another layer for shading purposes, which you'll see later on in the video. Here, I've turned off the sketch layer for a better view and tapped on the selection tool. Make sure freehand option is on and carefully tap on each corner of the shape to select it. Make sure it's accurate and then tap on the first spot to close the selection. This tool is almost identical to the selection tool on Adobe Photoshop if you're familiar with it. Once you have your selection, swipe down on the screen with 3 fingers to get this option bar and tap on Duplicate. As you can see, Now we have this shape as a duplicate on a new layer. Moving on, turn the sketch layer back on, and on a new layer, let's trace the right side of the house. Choose the medium blue color, and with your monoline brush at a 10% thickness, begin drawing the outer lines. Always remember to hold your pencil at the end of each line, and add your finger at the end for all vertical lines. When you're done creating the outer and inner boxes, pick your monoline brush as an eraser like we did before and erase those small gaps. Go back to your brush, continue to draw these vertical lines, and of course remember to hold your pencil and finger at the end to perfect them. Make sure your shape is closed from all corners and fill it in. You can place this layer right below the front side layer. Now let's move on to the top side of the house. Create a new layer, choose your lighter blue from the palette, and begin tracing the outer shape. Erase the gaps here and continue drawing these lines. Now make sure the shape is closed and fill it out. Again, place this layer at the very bottom. Here, I'm going back to the right side of the house to redo the tricky part we did on the front side. Choose your selection tool, make sure freehand is selected, and let's separate this horizontal bar. Tap on each corner of the shape to select it, and make sure it's accurate. Close your selection and swipe the screen with 3 fingers, then select Duplicate. Now we have this shape on a separate layer. We're going to do this step one last time on the upper side of the house as well. Choose the selection tool, freehand option, and select the shape. Make sure it's accurate, and once you have your selection, swipe with 3 fingers and duplicate the shape. And we're done. Now, I'm increasing the sketch opacity slightly for a better view of the house's backside. On a new layer, choose your medium blue and monoline brush with a thickness of around 35%, and let's trace the backside. I'm starting with all the vertical lines, so make sure to hold your pencil and finger at the end. For these horizontal lines, just make sure they intersect with the vertical lines at the bottom. Now, I've decreased my brush size slightly to create the thinner lines on top. Make sure your shape is closed and fill it out. Then decrease this layer's opacity to around 37%. Now let's change the background color to pink. Tap on the background layer and select the light pink color I've included in the palette. Our next step is to create the glass windows for our house using the reference tool. Create a new layer and place it right below our front side layer. Now select the front side layer, tap on the thumbnail, and select reference. Go back to your new layer below it, select a very light blue color, and fill out the window shapes like this. I absolutely love this tool because it allows you to easily separate the outline from the fill layers. Now decrease the fill layer opacity to around 20% and let's repeat this process for the remaining windows. Select the layer containing the right side of the house, tap on thumbnail, and select reference. Then create a new layer right below it. Now proceed to fill out the glass windows with light blue on the new layer. And decrease its opacity to around 30%. Moving on with the same process to the top side layer, reference the top layer, create a new layer below it, and fill out the glass windows. Finally, decrease its opacity to around 40%. Finally, we want to fill out the glass windows on the back layer. I'm going to bring this layer to the top and increase opacity to 100% in order to fix a little mistake that I did earlier. Here, I forgot to close the sides of my shape, which would have prevented me from using the reference tool correctly. Using the same color, I'm drawing the missing sides of the lines of this shape like this. Make sure to stay within the limits of the layer below it and avoid any stray lines showing when we bring this layer back to the bottom. Now that it's fixed, I'm taking this layer back to the bottom and decreasing the opacity back to 35%. Now, continue to create a new layer below it, reference the outline layer, pick the new layer, and fill in the windows with the light blue. Now decrease the glass layer opacity to around 20%. And now we're done with our glass house. Turn off the reference tool and let's start softening these windows. Select your front side glass layer, and here I'm using my diagonal brush as an eraser, and proceed to erase only the middle part of each glass window. Make sure to soften your pencil pressure as you move to the sides of each selection, and increase pressure in the middle. The effect may not fully show now, but it will once we draw our elements inside the house. This is giving the glass a sort of frosty look. You can always look at the layer thumbnail to get an overview of your progress. Now, continue to do the same process on all glass windows and monitor your progress from all layer thumbnails. You can reduce brush size on smaller windows to get a better result. Finally, I'm doing the same on the backside glass layer. And now we're done. Our final step before shading will be to draw a little handle on the front side door. Create a new layer on the very top, choose a dark blue color, and your monoline brush in 7% thickness. I'm using the structure as a reference to draw my lines in the correct perspective. When you're done, you can choose your select tool to place the handle in the right position and fill out your shape. Now, on a new layer below this one, I'm going to draw the top and side shapes of the handle to give it depth. Use a slightly lighter color for the top side of the handle and a much lighter color for the right side. Now, I'm going to arrange my layers to keep my file organized. Slide layers with your pencil to the right to select multiple ones. Group the handle layers together, and then group the front, right, and top sides of the house in one group, and group the backside layers in another group. Here, I'm just dragging the door handle group into the front layers group. You can tap on the group thumbnails to rename them as back and front. Now, let's finally move on to shading. Swipe all block color layers with 2 fingers to the right to alpha lock them, including the door handle layers. Alpha lock will allow you to shade only within the shape borders. Starting with the front side, choose your textured brush in a medium blue. Increase size and begin softly shading from the right to the left. Now go for a darker blue and darken the left side. Go back in with your medium blue to lighten the bottom right corner. And now, decrease brush size, and let's darken the parts right below the horizontal bar we duplicated in the beginning. As you can see, this is giving a nice depth to the shape and showing the horizontal bar to be protruding. Now, select the horizontal bar layer, choose a medium blue, and increase brush size. Lighten the right side and darken the left side. Now, select the front door handle side layer, and shade the right side with a medium blue and continue to lighten the right side of the layer below as well. Now, return to the front side of the glass house and darken right below the door handle to give it a shadow and some depth. Next, let's move on to the right side of the glass house. Choose a light blue, increase your texture brush size, and lighten the right side of the house. Choose a lighter blue and give the far right side a highlight. Now, choose a darker blue shade and darken the lines right below the horizontal bar. Select the horizontal bar and lighten the right side, then give it a highlight on the far right with a lighter blue. Here, I'm going back to the house's right side layer, choosing the background color, and highlighting the bottom of the shape slightly. Next, go to the top side layer and lighten the right half. Move on to the horizontal bar and do the same, but also darken the left side a bit. Finally, go to the backside layer, alpha lock it, and choose the background color. Increase brush size and shade from the middle outwards to give a fade out effect. Now, let's draw the elements inside the house, starting with the clouds. Create a new layer between the front and the back groups. Pick a medium pink color and choose your monoline brush in around 20% thickness. Draw the clouds one arc at a time and hold your pencil at the end of each arc to avoid any squiggly lines. Close your shape and fill it out. Continue to do the same on the right side on a new layer. You can vary with arc sizes to create a more random looking cloud. Make sure you close your shape and fill it out. Now, create a layer below the two previous clouds, choose a slightly darker pink, and draw the clouds on the backside using the same technique. Make sure you close your shape and fill it out. Next, we're going to shade the clouds. Slide all three cloud layers to the right with two fingers to alpha lock them, and let's start with the small cloud. Choose a darker pink shade and darken the left and bottom sides. Now pick a whitish pink and highlight the top and right sides of the cloud. Let's move on to the second cloud piece we drew and continue with the same technique. Darken the bottom and left sides of each cloud arc, then highlight the top and right sides. You can keep your shading in a circular motion in order to create round shapes. Move on with the same technique to the last cloud piece, but use a slightly darker pink shade than the previous one for darkening to create a better depth. And that's it. The clouds look great. And now to my favorite part, let's draw the cat on the swing. Create a new layer on top of the clouds, choose the light brown shade, and let's go in with our monoline brush to create the swing ropes. Make sure to hold your pencil and finger at the end to perfect those vertical lines. Now, create a new layer below this one. And let's draw the swing seat like this. Close off your shape and fill it out. Now, I'm just going to adjust one of the swing ropes position using the selection tool. Select only the right rope by drawing a circle around it, and then tap on the cursor tool to move it around within the same layer. Now, I'm just going to lighten the swing seat slightly to maintain our pastel color mood. Next, continue to draw the front side of the swing seat on a new layer in a darker shade. Close off your shape and fill it out. Now, for the right side, use a lighter shade than the top of the seat. Close your shape and fill it out. And there it is. Now let's group these layers together and keep things organized. For the cat, create a new layer on top of the swing and go for a black shade. Draw a simple silhouette of a cat looking towards your left like this. And dangle its tail below the swing seat. Close off your shape and fill it out. You can use your monoline brush as an eraser to edit the cat shape at the end. Finally, add the second ear like this. Now, to shade our new elements, slide all layers with 2 fingers to alpha lock them, and let's get started. For the cat, go in with your textured brush while using the same color as the background and highlight the right side. You can also slightly highlight the left side of the cat to show some light reflection. Next, select the swing ropes layer and go in with your textured brush using the background color to soften the shapes. Shade them from the top down, keeping the bottom of the ropes darker. Now for the swing seat with the same background color and textured brush, lighten the right side and then choose a darker brown to darken the left side. Continue to do the same for the front and right side of the swing. Finally, let's draw the big crescent moon inside the glass house. Create a new layer and select your monoline brush in white. Draw a big circle like this. Hold your pencil and your finger on the screen to create a perfect circle. You can tap on Edit Shape to adjust its position. Now, duplicate the circle and slide the duplicate downwards to the right. The difference between these two circles will create a crescent shape for us. Fill in both circle layers with white. Now tap on the top circle layer thumbnail and hit select. Then choose the bottom circle layer and delete the selection from it by swiping the screen back and forth with 3 fingers. Continue to delete the top circle layer, and now we have a perfect crescent moon shape. Now to create a shine effect, duplicate the moon layer, choose the bottom layer, go to Adjustments, Gaussian Blur, and slide your pencil to the right to increase blur. I set my blur to 10%. You can also duplicate the blurred layer for more shine, but I'm going to decrease this new layer's opacity a bit because I felt like it was too much. Now, group the 3 moon layers together, the cat and the swing together, and finally the 3 cloud layers. You can also give each group a name. Now, to add the stars, create a new layer right above the moon group, select your light pen in white, and adjust thickness to 22%. Now dot in your stars. Keep changing pencil pressure with each dot to create various star sizes and randomize the pattern. You can also add a few stars outside the house for a more dreamy effect. For our last and final step, we're going to create a shadow right below the house to give it the floating effect. Create a new layer on top of all house layers and select the monoline brush in dark brown. Trace the bottom side of the house like this. Make sure you hold your pencil at the end of each line to perfect it. Close off your shape and fill it out. Now, tap on the cursor icon, turn on your magnetic option, and drag the shape straight below the house like this. You can select Freeform option to adjust the shape dimensions freely. Next, go to Adjustments, Gaussian Blur, and slide your pencil on the screen to the right up to 5 or 6% of blur only. Now, decrease opacity by tapping on the layer with 2 fingers and then dragging your pencil across the screen to the left. I put my shadow at 27% opacity. Finally, select your textured brush as an eraser and soften the shadow's edges, leaving the middle darker than the sides. You can keep adjusting opacity as you go until you're satisfied with your shadow. And we're done with this dreamy illustration. I hope you guys found this tutorial helpful and easy to follow, and are satisfied with your results. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below and I'll make sure to respond and help you out. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials like this. See you next time!